It is another edition of the On the Mic podcast. And as we prepare for the PFL 2024 season, women's flyweights are first on deck. And very happy to talk to someone who we've talked to on the show before. She's back, and now she's with the PFL, the one and only Jena Bishop. Jena, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. And excited for you. So obviously you competed with Bellator. Now you're in the PFL, and there's so many, I guess, really more incentive, right? When you have the season, obviously the title and the $1 million, what factored into making this decision to do the PFL tournament?
Honestly, they asked me if I wanted to do it. I want to fight as much as possible. So this is that's like I guess the most intriguing thing to me is like you kind of get guaranteed to fight pretty frequently throughout the year. Like last year I only had 2 fights. I would have liked to have at least one more, So to be able to fight like 4 times in like 8 months is pretty dope for me. And then, winning a title and making some cash on the way is also pretty great.
Yeah, not many people would just shrug off the opportunity of $1 million. So, but is it the fact that your career? I mean, your career in grappling, you've so dedicated to it. Is that something where when you look back at everything that you've done, especially in the jiu-jitsu world and the grappling world, where you stayed so active and there's always competitions, has that led to your mindset of like, I want MMA fights as much as possible?
Oh, for sure. Because, we always like joke about it, but like jujitsu, there's no off season, and it's kind of the same with MMA, but you're, a lot of athletes, it's like you're training when you have a fight and then you get this downtime. And I'm like, I'm always training because that's just how it is with jujitsu. Like I would compete, you'd be ready for a tournament. I'm like, oh, I'm excited to take a break after this. But then the moment I get done, win or lose, I'm just like, I can't wait to get back on the mats. And it's like, then you get to just have fun training instead of the pressure of competition. So I'm used to doing it and I like having the competition and things like that to just motivate me to constantly be progressing and getting better. And so I kind of think that mentality is definitely just transferred into MMA where I'm like, I'm always training, I'm always trying to improve. So might as well be getting fights too.
Absolutely, especially when you're finishing in the first round. I mean, when you're
Yeah.
finishing fights in the first round and you've had first round finishes and you've gone to decision as well in your fights, this is going to sound stupid, but I have to ask, which do you enjoy more? I mean, obviously you go in, you take a limb, you get a paycheck, you're done, but you can find out more about yourself as a fighter, as a person when you go those 15 minutes. So what do you actually enjoy more?
Getting the finish is great because it's like cool, like we're good. I don't have to worry about anything. I could take another fight now. I'm back into training, helping my partners, whatever. But there's the benefits of I think it was my second fight. I went all 3 rounds and I loved that. Having done that was like knowing that I can do it. And I feel like I made adjustments in that fight and like grew inside of that fight. Like I got better. So there's just a lot like proving to yourself, but there's also just getting a finish in general is amazing. Like that's what I want every single time. So, I don't want the opportunity to have like the judges see it a different way than what like I saw it. So the finish is that's what I want.
Here's what I love about your mindset, right? So you just fought in October. You're like, yes, I get to fight more. Now I know you said overall you only got to fight, twice last year, but it's only been like 6 months, give or take. And
That's
some fight,
forever.
I understand, and I know. I mean, ideally, is it always 3 to 4 fights for you, or is the as many as possible? Obviously, different now, but what would your
Yes.
regular mindset be?
I would love to have at least 3 or 4 a year. That would be ideal, just get it done. I want to do as much as I can.
I understand that completely. And on this card in San Antonio, which I'm trying to go to, by the way, this will take place Thursday, April 4th at the Boeing Center in San Antonio, Texas. You'll be taking on Chelsea Hackett, but also on the card, so many familiar names in Bellator, including the champ. And then Dakota Dechiva, the European champion. You're on a card with champs. You have a fight to focus on, but how much are you going to be watching the other women in this tournament?
I mean, I'll let my coaches watch them. Like that's like I just worry about me, you know, like I'll of course I'll like check in, see what's happening, but it's not gonna, you know, like that I don't know, like maybe I'm weird about that. Like I don't obsess over those kinds of things as much. I'd rather just like focus on what I gotta do right now and then I'll see how the rest of the fights played out. But you know, I'm not like too worried about it because then I just gotta figure out what's my next one.
Well, we're in the middle of March, so it's like March Madness. You have all these college basketball tournaments going on. It's always funny to me when you're watching one of the games and the two teams that are lined up next to play are waiting on the other sideline, like for the first game to get over. So you're not going to be waiting on the walkway, waiting to see how these fights go. But
Mhm.
it is interesting, obviously, yeah, let your coaches do that, right? What was the meeting like with your coaches to kind of prepare? Because yes, you're going to have to almost rapid prepare throughout this year because it is a tournament style. You could have a quick turnaround. How did that discussion go with your coaches in terms of preparing for a year season?
I mean, there wasn't really a lot of discussion for it because they're like, you're always training, you're always ready. So it's just, you know, now you don't have to like be mad and yelling at your manager to get you a fight.
So everyone's happy now because you're getting
Yes, it
points.
makes everyone happy because I'll be happier.
Do you feel like this poses a different type of challenge? Obviously, because when you're in a promotion, let's say like Bellator, you're fighting your way up, then you get into the rankings. Then there's rematches and politics and rankings and popularity. But here it's just I'm getting in, I'm doing my job, and I advance. Is there a different mindset for you in comparison to other promotions, and because it is a tournament?
Um, I don't know. I think I always just take everything as like I just got a job to do and I'm gonna go do it. So even with the politics of everything else, it's like I just want to fight. I want to prove that like, you know, how good I am. And I don't think really anything changes whether it's like a normal like MMA promotion or like in a season tournament like this.
Well, I do have to say happy belated birthday. 21 looks good on you.
Thank
Uh, but with all seriousness, I think the first time we spoke, we talked about getting a later start in terms of in comparison to others in your
you.
MMA career. Is there any part of you where you're like, yeah, where I'm at, in my life, in my age, the opportunity to get 3 or 4 fights in one year, which is the most important thing to me, but also end the year with $1 million check and a title. I mean, that's everything presented to you right away, all in one. Does that kind of satisfy everything that you're looking to do in your career, but to have it happen in one year?
Um, it doesn't, you know, like that's like, of course, it's like getting a title, making money, like that's obviously what I want, but my goal is just to prove that I'm the best. So like, if this does that, then, you know, I guess I'm satisfied, but we'll see at the end of the day how satisfied I am. I'm pretty like, I don't know, I'm a harsh critic of myself. So, you know, we'll see where I'm at in the end of this year.
How harsh could you be, though? I mean, your MMA record, no blemishes. I mean, what are things that you would like to improve on this year?
I mean, I just want to continue to get better. I want to feel more comfortable. Like, you know, I feel like I'm getting a lot more comfortable with my striking. Like it's becoming like a good thing, but I want all my wins to be finishes. So that's like where I'm critical. Like, you know, I let them do one bet like even in practice, it's like, oh, okay, I maybe won every round or submitted all my training partners, but it's like, but I let them hit me or I made this mistake and that. So I'm very critical of like any little thing that I do wrong. And it's like there's always room for improvement. And I don't want to be settled or satisfied in just like, you know, just getting by. I want to be getting better.
Yeah, obviously, I'm the guy with the microphone. Obviously, you would like to just get in, get out, get these finishes, continue to add to it. But let's say everything goes according to plan. Let's say 2024 is the best year in your career. You said you want to be the best. So does that mean big fights? Does that mean prize fights? Does that mean defending your belt? Have you thought about any of that? And like when you say you want to be the best, what is the pinnacle for you, the mountaintop for you?
I mean, I want to fight the best, like the best women out there and show that like, I can compete at the highest level. I don't know. I guess I'm taking it little by little. I don't know what I want. I'm all over the place right now. I'm kind of a hot mess at the moment. So you're asking me questions where I'm like, I just want to prove that I'm the best. And I don't know what, whatever that looks like, you know, we'll see.
Well, I'm not trying to, throw out too many like crazy questions here for you.
No, you're good.
I do want to say though, because the last time we spoke, I was living in Chicago. I recently moved to Missouri, where you're from, and
Oh, nice.
I'm realizing it's somewhat of a hotbed for MMA. Obviously, I know you're out in California, but how much pride do you take in doing all that you've done in the grappling world, bringing it into the MMA world, having this big opportunity where, yes, home is and where you train is in San Diego and in California, but to show your homegrown roots, like, hey, there may be a 10-year-old Jena Bishop that she doesn't even know yet, going to school right now. How much
Mhm.
pride do you take in being like, I show out not only for myself, but for those coming after me?
I mean, I love it because I think, when I started in jujitsu, especially in Missouri, like there weren't like I was the only female in my gym. My coach wasn't even a black belt. There weren't hard like it was rare to even see like a purple belt. Like they were like, oh my God, they're so good. They're a purple belt. And so to be able to have a start like that and to have grown and achieved everything I did in as far as jujitsu goes, and then to also like make that and use that success and have that transfer over into MMA and more success in the sport it's huge to me. But I think it speaks too to the mentality of like the Midwest people. It's like just like work hard, put your head down, get it done, like and I think that growing up in that environment around those kinds of people is giving me the work ethic to get where I am today.
Midwest born and raised, and obviously fought like a Midwesterner. I understand that completely. April 4th, you're coming a little back towards the Midwest. You'll be in Texas and San Antonio. Chelsea Hackett, is there anything that you've seen, whether talking with your coaches or just looking? Do you look at any of your opponents' previous fights, or do you leave that to your coaches?
I'll look a little bit, like just get an idea, but most of it I just leave to my coaches, and they'll help me prepare for, put a game plan together for me, and we'll execute that way. But yeah, I'm a little intrigued, but like I trust the people around me to make sure that I'm ready for anything that she'll throw out at me.
I'm not asking game plan here, but what are you looking to showcase? Obviously, we've talked about it. So, like, Mike, stop asking this question. I know you want to get the finish, but as your striking continues to develop, I mean, what are you looking to showcase in this fight against Chelsea Hackett?
I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that like anytime I'm working with my striking coach, that he's like, I'll be so happy if you landed this. And I'm like, so would I, so would I. So I'm like, if there's a couple of things that I'm like, if I can do that, pull that off, that'd be sick. But I will also, I want to show off my grappling as best as I can, because I think that there's not very many people in the sport that have the level of grappling that I do. So I'm always happy to show that off. There's, a couple cool finishes that I would love to get. But yeah. And
So would it be
I don't know. I always thought it'd be cool to get a wrist lock in MMA, but I don't know how feasible that is with the gloves and everything. Your hands all taped up. It kind of makes it a little harder, but I think that'd be sick.
I would love to say, hey, during fight week, demonstrate a wrist lock if I'm going to be there. But I like my hands, and I'm going to need them to type a story on you later, so I don't want you to break it. But would it be fair to say then, a perfect 2024 for you is a tap them out tournament? You just get in, get out, tap them out, and lead yourself to the title?
That would be ideal. That's like the goal.
All right. Well, Jena Bishop, thank you so much for the time. Hopefully I'll see you there in San Antonio. April 4th, PFL week 1, the flyweight tournament begins. Thank you so much. And all the best to you come fight week.
Thank you.